For international businesses with products and services that are needed in Africa, the traditional method of engaging Africa has proven to be slow, bureaucratic, and plagued with bribery and corruption. This is one of the reasons why the approach used by the Developing Africa Group is a game changer. For the first time in Africa's history, trade and development opportunities are going to be presented to international businesses digitally. This means, if you are a business in Stockholm, Sweden, Paris, France, or Milan, Italy, you can see development opportunities from Somalia, Nigeria, Lesotho, and Kenya, all from the comfort of your home. Developing Africa Group's intellectual property rights commercialization project will allow your IPR to be matched to development opportunities in Africa. This will mean an end to international businesses exploiting Africa for its resources and open up opportunities for African talents and intellects to work hand in hand with international businesses in order to deliver projects in Africa. It will mean employment for the African professionals, as well as assurance for the international businesses that they can be assured a return on their investment. Developing Africa Group has been authorized by the government of Nigeria to create an IPR commercialization project initially for Nigeria with the aim of rolling it out across Africa. This means international businesses can now extend their intellectual property rights to Nigeria, and by extension to Africa. The key changes to the Developing Africa Group model are as follows. The solution is based on intellectual property rights. Secondly, it is backed by the security provided by blockchain technology. And lastly, the end-to-end process is built on new age technology. This is going to digitally open up the opportunities of engaging Africa.
Let's imagine you are a business based in San Francisco, California, and you have a product that is IPR registered. You want to find out how and where your IPR is needed in Nigeria. The Developing Africa project will enable you to place your IP on the platform. As Nigerian professionals in the area, who understand the nature of the problems in Nigeria, define the problem and the solution needed to resolve it. This will form our demand database. If your IPR comes up as a supply to the demand, there will be an IP match and you will be alerted. This means rather than you going to launch your project in Nigeria, you will have a team to deliver the project in Nigeria using your IPR. All the preparatory work that needs to be done will be carried out by the Nigerian team to your specified standard. An agreement will be struck between your company, the team in Nigeria, and Developing Africa Group to provide your company exclusive IP rights to deliver the project in Nigeria. This is the best way to avoid bribery and corruption and still deliver solutions in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Due to the fact that the system of delivering the project is going to be digital, all the means of payment will be digital as well, which means you will see all the revenue generated from the project in real time. By this approach, your IP would have left San Francisco and be situated in Nigeria without a single bribe being paid. Jobs created in Nigeria and your standards delivered directly in Nigeria.
Here is a known fact. There are no problems in Africa that the international community do not have solutions for. In some cases, the solutions are even right there in Africa, but as of today, Africa is currently unable to provide solutions to African problems. The challenge has always revolved around getting the solution to the solution without costing a fortune, which eventually makes the solution impossible to implement. There are even many Africans in the diaspora with intentions to bring their intellect into Africa but are currently unable to do so, because of the huge difficulties they will face in doing business in Africa today. As a result, doing business in Africa today only works for the very rich, who can afford to pay the bribes, and the multinational companies and countries that are only interested in taking away African raw materials but not interested in developing Africa. The last 30 years has made this fact abundantly clear. Africa still remains a huge continent just to pick its resources and not a continent that applies any intellect to its raw materials in order to convert them into end products. Africa cannot achieve development unless it increases its ability to apply intellectual solutions to its problems for the benefit of its people and repeat that exercise with its neighbors. This is where the Developing Africa Group IPR commercialization project will make all the difference. The project is designed for small to medium businesses inside and outside Africa, interested in partnering for the development of Africa. It is also for the African diaspora talents who want to develop their own communities in Africa, as well as for African talents within Africa who are interested in seeing their talent implemented in other African countries without creating an immigration challenge.
Here are 3 things you need to take away from this video. Number 1, intellectual property rights has the ability to resolve thousands of issues in Africa without creating a migration challenge like we have seen in South Africa. Number 2, African talents know more about the problems in Africa that most African governments do, and as a result, they are the best set of people to engage in developing projects in Africa. They are not corrupt and do want to use their talents to fix their countries. Lastly, you as a business owner, whether African or international, are better off working with African talents to implement your projects than with the governments. There is no doubt there is a win-win situation that can be implemented across Africa. We need your products and services, and you need the Nigerian and African commercial markets. The Developing Africa Group aims to develop Africa and at the same time create international employment wages for African talents. Having heard all we have to tell you about the Developing Africa Group and its IPR commercialization project, which is supported by U.S. investment and blockchain firm Algorand, MasterCard, MetaMop, and Coinbanks, the next question you need to ask yourself as an international business or African with a product or service is the following. What type of problems can my products and services resolve in Nigeria or Africa? If you have an answer to that question, then do get in touch with us to tell us about what you do and how it can help in developing Africa. Our CEO's email is omo-akin@developingafrica.net, and his WhatsApp is +44 78120398867. Our website is www.developingafrica.net. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @developingafro. We thank you for your time in watching our video and look forward to hearing from you.